Hey, welcome back to the podcast, Evil Dungeon Master Universe Podcast. I'm your host, Evil Dungeon Master Vince. Hopefully you're having a great Friday. As the weekend is upon us, hopefully you'll be gaming. I know I will be, hopefully, unless things go through. I'm going to go see a movie this weekend, blah, blah, blah. You know, the usual stuff. Hopefully you're doing well. Ask the DM at theevildm.com is my email address, and theevildm.com is my website. So today I was looking around for things to talk about, and one of the things that came to mind was an article I remember from The Best of Dragon Volume 1. And the reason why I remember this article, because it was kind of interesting, because it's for designing unique wilderness encounters. And this came out in 85, this particular Best of Volume 1. It was an article by Daniel Clifton, and basically what it does is it kind of breaks it down so when you're fighting out in the wilderness, what exactly is the terrain like in that area when you're doing it. So let me break it down for you here. And it's pretty interesting, at least my opinion. By use of the following tables, the Dungeon Master may quickly determine the terrain in which any encounter occurs according to the type of the hex of the party is traveling through. The tables may also be used to create maps of areas surrounding special sites such as castles, cities, and dungeons. Additionally, the tables are ideal for resolving the shape of battlefields for D&D as well as any other war game pretty much, so you have that possibility too. Move the page forward. For encounters, consider a 4-foot square area and determine the terrain to each corner section of the 4-foot square. If a river flows through the hex in question, then allow a 10% chance that it will flow across the field with additional 10% chance that it will have a ford. If an encounter with a swimmer is indicated, then the river will always be on the field. If the party is traveling upon a road, then an appropriate bridge or ford will be located at the river. To determine the course of the river, first randomly located in one of the areas. Finding the initial direction of the flow chart, and you look on 6A. 6A is initial run of rivers and streams, and it's a 1d4 dice roll, and it just tells you the course of the river based on direction. And then plot its course according to the chart for 6B. Now, 6B is a course of runs. It turns clockwise, goes straight, counterclockwise, yada, 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 things like that. From 1-foot square area to the next until both ends are plotted off the field. Rolling on an appropriate chart for each area, plotting the flow of the streams as with the rivers immediately upon rolling the proper number. Next, find the grade of the slope and the hills by rolling on the matching A chart. Grade also indicates the height. Gentle, 1 level, steep, 3 levels, things like that. Finally, the run of the slopes is determined as with the rivers using the table on 6C. Now, 6C is just the facing slope of the ground and how it faces. Define the facing slope if it can be decided if there's sort of high ground, such as a mountain peak, exists off the field or something. Chart 6C is also used when slope is indicated to cross another that has already been plotted, in which case the new slope will turn to run parallel to the original one, either facing in the same direction, slopes facing away from high ground, or the opposite direction, slopes facing high ground. If a slope is indicated to cross a river or a stream, there's a 75% chance that this will turn to face the watercourse and run parallel to it off the field. Once the general features are determined, the Dungeon Master may blend them together at his discretion, shrinking or enlarging many of the features to fit the area to his liking. Monsters and parties will be placed in the opposite corner section. If either is located in dense woods, double chances of surprise or finding normal sighting distance between 20 to 120 feet. If either is located in the light woods, finding normal sighting with distance between 20 and 100 yards would be the distance of sight. If both monsters in the party are located in featureless areas with clear lines of sight, half chances of surprise and normal sighting distance will always be at maximum. If this method is used to map larger areas, decrease the possibility of slopes and streams in proportion to increasing the area. So what we have here is you have hexes on your map. You have features inside these hexes. Now, when you go into certain hex areas, when you're hex crawling or exploring, This is a way to flesh out the little area that you're having the battle in, or you can use this to make different things in the area. You have 6 different tables, and the tables are broken down into A's, B's, and sometimes C's. The table, there's like a clear, table 2 is rough, then there's grades of rough and clear, and then there's a mountainous features, there's wooded. So every type of hex that you design for your campaign while you're crawling, you can use this one-page supplement to help zoom in, so to speak, and see what's exactly in the area. So if you have a text that has, let's say it's a wooded area, and your party runs upon a random encounter in that area, instead of the DM having to make up something on the fly or draw something, he could use this right here to figure out wooded area. He rolls 1 percentile. What features in there? Okay, it's a dense woods. Perfect. What type of grade is it? Maybe it's an average, or maybe it's a steep when you're going into the dense woods or something. And then there's additional features you can do on it as well. But this is just something to give a little flavor to it, and then it also tells you how to set up the encounter. And in case you're not aware, the monsters go here. You can hide them in certain places. I thought it was really interesting because I remember I've used this a couple times in games when I just wanted to add a little flavor to the battlefield instead of just a plain old, here's the battlefield, and here's a tree, and there's a tree, and, just kind of boring. Now, this can help you draw in a river, or you maybe even a castle somewhere, or maybe a little tower that you can run to and hide. Maybe small hilly areas that the person can get the high ground from. Things like that. They can hide. I just thought it was an interesting thing for designing unique wilderness encounters, just adding a little more flavor to your campaign. I want to talk a little about today, and I want to know what you think about this. Do you use things like this? Do you even think about it this far in advance, or even plan it this far? Or you just kind of, whatever, it's a battle, let's just get it over with. I know a lot of combat is just kind of boring for D&D sometimes, and I think doing this ahead of time, or doing this, or having this little piece of paper with you at the time when you're in certain hexes for random encounters, or planned encounters for that matter, you can add a little bit more, I want to say, flavor and fun to the battlefield, instead of just having a plain old hex square battle and, everybody just kind of moves and cries because it's boring. But I like to add flavor to things. Tell me what you think in the comments below. I'm going to head out. This weekend is upon us, so I want to get out of here for today. So keep it original, keep it old school. Good night, God bless, and keep those AD&D fires lit. Good night, everybody.